War Machine, episode 5. Man, 5 episodes already. Cool. So here we go. So gonna get the chassis and the lift today. Well, not today. Okay, several days ago, weeks ago actually. But nonetheless, getting the chassis and the lift. Gonna start putting the body on top of the 2000 model. Kind of cool. This is gonna be one of the most tedious parts of it. It takes me forever to do it because I try my best not to cut any more than I have to and try to get this thing to fit in there as tight as possible. So watch, check it out. This lift, I mean, I just about wore the motor out on this lift, run this thing up and down, trying to get this thing to fit and just cut a little bit here and a little bit there. So check it out. Let me know how you like it. All right, now get these straps off here, see if we can roll this guy over here in the lift and get it off this stand. Pretty exciting time, I must say. Been waiting on this for a while. Doesn't look like it, but I've kind of got a lot of money tied up in this project already. All right, here we go. Vroom, vroom. I think I'm probably gonna have to cut these 2x4s off a little bit on the front so they'll clear the front tires. That should be somewhere about right there, I think. Maybe come forward a little bit more. All right, so we'll give her a try about right there, see what we get. Just in there. Extend that right out under it. Well, the question is that going to clear the tire? But we'll figure that out. I mean, 2x4s were a super idea. We are on the box, baby. Woo woo. All right, here goes something. Alright, so we have contact on the front, not on the back just yet. I can adjust that though. My lift arms will adjust, I can just drop it down. Over here, we touching, we good to go. Alrighty, well, here goes something. Oh man, that's good and solid right there. Yeah, I couldn't be happier about that. Shoot, yeah. That's what's up. So I'm gonna come over now. I'm gonna move this screw that's right here and the end of this holding these 2x4s together. I'm gonna move it down to right here. I'm gonna cut this end off these 2x4s. That's that. Where's this one? There it is. All right, let's get the Sawzall, trim these dudes off. All right, so I guess I need to get it up off this bad boy, get this cart out of here, see about rolling this chassis under it. I'm kind of excited. Looking pretty good. Let me give you a back view. There we are from the side. Actually, you know what? I'm rolling her in here. We're already too far forward, as you can kind of see there. So, looks like I need to back this dude back up here so I can get this wheel centered up in the wheel well. I didn't even realize, oh no, wait a minute. I come on forward a little bit more. Not too far off. Maybe it'll be pretty close. We're not in too bad a shape. Just kind of letting you see what we got going on from the back here. So far. See if we can get a view from the side here. Alright, so that's kind of giving you an idea where we're at. Got to come forward a little more. Woo! Dude, just clear. I think it might actually be about to hit this other one. Man, I mean, it's literally, there's nothing to clear in that. So I can already see the floor sticking out the back, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches, so I'm gonna have to do something with that. Up here, right here, doesn't look too bad right now. I think I might be ready to kind of try to let this thing down a little bit and see what we get going on here. This lift arm looks like this pad over here on this right front might try to hit this firewall a little bit. So I may actually have to roll it back and then let it down. So I roll it forward, let it down some, and come back in. I don't know, I'll have to check it here in just a second. See about this side. This side's gonna be the same, so I'm not sure yet. I may roll it back let the lift down, and then drive back past it here, see what I get. That way I can let it on down. Let's see what we got right there. Might clear that. So I hope you can kind of see what I'm doing right now. The inside of this round part of this lift arm is going to hit just the edge of this firewall just a little bit, this trough. So I rolled it back just a little bit, so I'm going to try to let the lift down and get it past that point right there, and then roll it back forward, and then start letting it down and start trying to center up my wheel and my wheel well. So bear with me. We'll see, how this thing's going to work out. I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited. All right, here we go. All right, we are officially off the lift, or off the rack. The safety catches. Ideally, I would want to have someone in here helping me watch, but I don't have a person like that, so I'm just gonna have to ease it down and listen for shit to crunch. Alright, stop here, see where I'm at. Looking alright so far. Alright, see over here, this one's actually already starting to hit. So I'm gonna need to trim that just a touch, I do believe. I'll bring it back up, and I'll just take it and I'll cut it right there, make one quick cut. This side's pretty good. All right, that won't be too bad. Straight. Yeah, pretty good. Woo. We got one little spot right at the edge of this firewall here. It's wanting to catch just a little bit on the inside of the cab there. Looks like the other side. Looks like I got it cut back just a little bit farther. If I look at where the pinch weld is in relation to the body, looks pretty close. See, the bottom of the fender right here is not going to clear this when it comes through. I'll have to do something about that. I could probably rock it a little bit, pull the fender out some. Enough to get this going up in there anyhow. So right now, I've got to come forward enough to be able to let this cab down just a little bit more. All right, so now you can kind of see a little bit there. I'll show you what I'm dealing with. All right, so right now you can see the pinch weld on the new floor, and there you can see where the body narrows on the 77, and starting to get some contact there, and I've still got to come down a foot. So the other side, The floor was made a little bit different. So you can see there, our pinch weld is just about touching. And I've got this cut back a little further over here. So either I'm gonna have to figure some way to get this right in here, opened up a little bit more, or cut this out a little bit more. I'm not sure. It looks like it just comes out right here in this one particular area. However, the downside is, I don't know how much of that you can actually see. That's where the actual structure is for the cab, and I don't want to get into the structural support. I'll show you on this side because it's fully visible. It's this right here is where the problem is, and I can't really drive that back. That's our hinge pillar. Can't really do much with that, so I'm gonna wind up having to alter right here on our donor this trough and possibly the pinch weld here to get it to slide up in there. It should be pretty close. The thing is, this area right here, actually, this area of the body actually hits way down here on the floor, so it won't really be a big deal if I have to cut this out. But I've got to get this up in there first, because once we get up in here to the top, it's wider. So I just got to figure out right now how I'm going to get this. I may be able to roll the chassis back now, kind of roll it back where it's a little bit wider, and then let it down a little bit more. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give it a shot. Starting to get a lot of drag. It's actually picking the cab up off the 2x4s. I just need to see where it's hitting now, so I can see where I need to adjust here. All right, so we're hitting in the same spot, but I can roll it back some. Over here, it's the pinch weld, so that's not bad. I just need to maybe take it back a little bit more so I can get it to clear this. It's just this one section right here. It's wanting to hang up real bad. Looks like I'm still pretty well clear of the bar. I need to get me a hammer, so I need to get. Well, let's see what we're getting at. It's trying to come on down. Well, see, now I got a different part that's hitting right here. I think if I can get it past this hump though, I'll be all right. Then I'll be able to move it around independently up in there. All right, well, as you can see, I have rolled the chassis back out from under the cab. I'm going to actually, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna cut out this area. You can see right here where it was contacting this this inner structure of this A-pillar. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this whole section out. I was hoping to leave it in and just kind of modify it a little bit to fit the stuff from the 2000 model truck, but if I can cut this out, it'll give me a little bit of access to this inner pillar right here, so that maybe I can trim it back a little bit. If I can get it to clear here, I should be able to finish raising or lowering the cab the rest of the way down on it. You can see on this side, it's basically made the same. It's got a bulge right here where the inner structure contacts. So worst case scenario, I might have to knock like 1/4 of an inch out of this right here and then come back and rebuild it once I get the floor and everything up in here. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna back out, I'm gonna let this thing down a little bit, and I'm gonna get the grinder and cut those out of there. All right, so I've got the A-post I got it all cut out, trimmed out, I believe far enough. I didn't cut the whole thing out because I want to leave as much of the factory structure in there as I can. Just because it was built pretty tough from the factory. I'd like to keep as much of that as I possibly can. Now, I also, I could tell before that the factory seam on the floor, that the floor had a factory seam in it, which you'll see right across there. You'll see the spot welds are cut. The reason why the spot welds are cut is because when I was putting it in there before, I could tell already that it was going to be a few inches too long. So you see, I just used the belt sander, cut all the spot welds out and split it. It was no big deal really. There's nothing structural underneath it. It's just where the floor slides together. Well, like I said, I could tell that the floor was a few inches longer on the 2000 model than the cab of the 77 was. So I went ahead and split that. That way my plan is actually to get the firewall and all in place, lower the cab down over top of it, and then slide that section of floor, slide it forward until the back portion of the 2000 model floor fits inside the back of the cab. Basically, I'm just gonna have to shorten it up a couple of inches and just see where I'm at from there to get everything to line up where I need it to and get the seat position right and all that type of stuff. So now we're gonna give it a shot and see if we can't get this cab lowered down on here. All right, so started bringing it down. It's tough to get this thing. I have to move it back and forth several times to kind of get it where it's side to side the best it can. So hopefully it'll just kind of slide up in there. It's gonna be real close, but hopefully it goes this time. So let it down some, see what we got. I think my lift arm is going to hit the front tire. So let's see here, what do we got? All right, right now, we're too narrow right there. Right on it, on this side. So I've got to figure out, it actually kind of is a little bit more narrow at the bottom and opens up at the top. So there again, I'm trying not to cut off any more factory material from the 2000 model floor or the 77 truck. So I'm hoping that maybe I can move it back and forth. You know, if I can move the chassis back and then come up and then come back forward to where it opens up. So I don't know, I'm just gonna have to kind of fiddle with it and see what I can do here. All right, so I'm gonna pause it for a few minutes while I stare at this and try to figure it out. That way I'm not just burning up battery. All right, so as you can see, I am a lot closer than I have been so far. Right now, it's actually pretty close to being centered in the wheel well. I don't know how much you can see of this. See that line right there? That marks the center of the wheel well. I mean, I'm just eyeballing it right now because I've got to get it down closer, but it's closer than it has been. So, kind of gives you you can see we've still got probably to go down at least a foot, maybe more, just for the initial. Obviously, looking at right there, we're pretty close. So this trough right here, as you can see, it's already kind of contacting right there, which I had to move the back of the truck, the back of the chassis around a little bit because it wasn't square at all to the body. It was off, I don't know, a couple of inches, I guess, which I've been eyeballing it to this point. So, but you can see where this is rounded here. So obviously I'm gonna have to trim on this a bit to kind of get it where it goes. This is not really an issue because this area up here is just where the wiper motor mounted for the 2000 model. I don't really need that area at all. The only part of it that is really of any use to me at all is right here. This is where the the air box pulls outside air in. You see we're pretty tight. I mean, it's hitting right in here. So I'm gonna have to do a little work in this area. You can see there. At the bottom we've got a little gap there, but you see where it narrows up right through there. Now, I don't know if you can see on the inside there, where it actually opens up. I can't get to where I can open the door and really let you see that right now. It does open up some more at the top. Now, back to what I was telling you about how the floor is actually longer. This is how much longer the 2000 model floor is than the 77 cab. This is why I cut that factory seam on spot welds. It's a couple inches, I don't know, maybe 5-6 inches. I don't know, we had a pretty decent sized pawl there. I'm gonna say it's close to 6 inches, so somewhere along the way I'm gonna have to take 6 inches out of this bad boy. So I'll be planning on moving it on the inside. The only problem with just sliding it together in the center, like I was talking about on that factory seam there, is that moves the seat forward, which costs me leg room. So that's something I'll have to consider and figure out how I'm gonna cope with in the very near future, actually, because in order to let it down much more, as you can see, I can only come down a couple of more inches right now before it's gonna be hitting the floor. So I'm gonna need to, I've got the floor unbolted right now. This back half of it is unbolted, so I can try to pick it up and slide it forward and see what I can get going on here. I'm gonna see if I can get that thing loose, see if I can kind of get it moving forward, and see if I can get this thing dropped down just a little bit more. So we'll revisit this in the next video. Okay, well, there you go. Episode 5. Ran into a lot of problems already, but that's the cool part of building it. And it's, you know, if it was easy, anybody would do it. Gonna run into a whole lot more problems, as you're gonna see, but I can say that I do overcome them all. Just keep watching, see how I come through it, what I have to change, what I have to move, what I have to cut, and beat the crap out of with a hammer and everything else. So hang in there, watch it. If you like it, click that subscribe button, hang in there, watch all the episodes to come. Turn your post notifications. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Check out the emails at the bottom of your screen. And see you for episode 6.